Hey everybody, welcome to the Geekdom. Today I'm going to do another Game of Thrones review, and I believe it's called The Prince of Winterfell. Anyways, I do compare the show to the books, so choose now if you want to continue watching. Now with the show, I just want to say that I feel that this show actually made progress, whereas in last week's episode, the reason I was so about it was because I felt it was the episode before that, they were just taking that and dragging it out longer, and it was unnecessary. Um, I also felt they were just adding scenes with Jon Snow and Daenerys for the sake of just adding them because they're popular characters. I know they did it with Dany because that scene with her dragons being stolen isn't even in the books, and the fact that they did that makes me upset because Daenerys would not lose her dragons. Like, what kind of a mother loses her children, sort of a thing. Like, what happens to her dragons kind of represents who she is, and that's the last thing that would ever happen. And if it did happen, all hell would break loose with Daenerys. None of that BS like, oh Jorah, take me to the dragons, or, where's my dragons? No, all hell would break loose. She would slit throats herself. She would slit throats herself, not any of this dragged out 5, 10 scenes or whatever that she had of her just like, oh, my dragons are stolen. It's really making me not like the character. And, just throwing in these BS scenes with Daenerys just because people like her is really turning me off to her, and she is my favorite female character. And you're making me not like her. So, I'm upset with Daenerys. I could see, her having her dragon stolen and that being turned into an interesting thing, but they didn't do that. They didn't take advantage of that. They're dragging this out way longer than it needs to be. Or they could just drop a couple of her scenes and give that time to people who really, really, really need that screen time. And Jon Snow, I was entertained by the Ygritte and him scenes, but again, like, it was dragged out to the point where I noticed, and I was like, okay, this is taking too long. I liked the scenes, but I definitely noticed that they were dragged out. But anyways, things start to move forward in this episode, such as Arya. I did enjoy the Arya and Tywin scenes as well, but again, like the Jon Snow, dragged out. So yeah, things are starting to move. And we start off with Theon, and Yara comes in, and she doesn't have the 500 soldiers that he asked her to bring along. In fact, she's there to tell him to go back to the Iron Islands and speak with their father. And he's like, well, I took Winterfell. I'm freaking awesome. I mean, look at this. I have a whole entire castle. I got vengeance on the people who took me. All this bullshit. And she's just like, look, we have nothing to do with Winterfell. It's many, many, many miles from where we live. Our entire fleet is our source of strength. And, we can't bring ships on the shore, honey. So, it was just like completely idiotic for him to take over Winterfell, and he thought he was so cool. And I don't know who this Cleft Jaw guy is, but he's been playing Theon strings since the beginning. I remember him in the books, but he's just been playing his strings in the show because everything he says, I know Yara would just kick him in the ass. And Theon just goes along with it. But anyway, she's like, in a later scene, she's like, look, you're my brother. I don't want you to come to harm. Just come home with me, There's no point of keeping Winterfell. I mean, honestly, just think about it. Like, he's surrounded by all these northerners. He doesn't have the protection of the Iron Fleet. And, yeah. So she's just like, come home, baby brother. I don't want you to die. But he's like, no, I took Winterfell. I'm going to stay. Or at least I believe that's what he's going to do. He made it seem like he was going to stay and hold Winterfell. Next, Jon Snow is turned over to Rattleshirt, or the Lord of Bones. I don't know his real true name. I'm pretty sure he has like normaler name, because Rattleshirt and Lord of Bones kind of has to do with his armor. Um, but anyways, Ygritte gives Jon Snow a favor, kind of a life for a life thing, which is pretty awesome, because the wildlings in Westeros are kind of portrayed as like less than human, and that's kind of like just with every reason we use to justify killing human beings, we dehumanize them. It's happened in history many times. Um, but anyways, we see that they are human, and their just way of living is different. But anyways, what's the most interesting is Halfhand's plans for Jon Snow, and this is one of my favorite, I guess, missions in the entire series. And basically Halfhand's plan is for Jon Snow to become a wildling, get close to Mance Rayder, and infiltrate the system like that, and become one of them, and he could cause major havoc. I think he wants him to assassinate Mance Rayder, but I'm pretty sure any damage he could do would be awesome. So you see him, you know, publicly yell out, "You traitor, I know you slept with her, you know, you bastard," whatever. And I really, 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 really want to see what's going on there. And the only thing I'm concerned about is the show has been, like I said before, justifying a lot of characters and also watering them down and softening them up. Like, George R. R. Martin's world is very harsh, and a lot of things happen that you wouldn't expect, you know, some of these characters to do, but they do them out of survival, out of need, out of base human emotions like anger, and, you know, they soften and justify a lot of these characters who, you know, sometimes they do bad or negative things because of some of what I just listed, even though they're some of our favorite characters, or even though they have honor, or even though, you know, they're good characters. And the show has just been softening some of these areas up for some of these characters and justifying them, and you know, making them not as cruel, or when they do have to do something kind of negative or harsh, they kind of soften or water it down and make it like, oh, they did it because of this and this, and sometimes they just did it because they were angry, or they did it because they're assholes. And so I don't like the show doing that, and there's something that Jon Snow has to do, and I really don't want them softening that, because, you know, some things just have to be done, and I really don't want you know, it watered down, or a random excuse made up for it. And speaking about that, Robb scenes comes up, and you know, after he finds out Cat let Jaime go, he goes and has sex with Volantis girl. And they never had good chemistry, so I never really felt like their romance was any good. I felt like it was more lustful, but they tried to make it seem like he loved her because he's like, oh, I don't want to marry the Frey girl. And it's just like, no, you just want to bang this girl because, you know, nowhere in your conversations have I got like, you love this girl. No, you just want to bang her. Yet the show's trying to throw in some love in there, and it's just like, no. He doesn't love her. He just wants to bang her. And, you know, I don't want that to be a justification for Robb, is that he really loves the Volantis girl. I think it's better if, you know, it was just lust or, you know, seduction. And I'm still not sure if this Volantis girl is really Jane Westerling in disguise. Still, I mean, I hope to God it is, that she's just Jane Westerling seducing Robb, because I hate Jane Westerling, and I don't want to like her. And if this Volantis girl is not Jane, but the show's replacement for her, and they're trying to make me like her, no, it's not going to work. I'm still going to make an excuse to hate her, because that's just, I have to. She's my scapegoat character. I have to hate her. But anyways, about the cat letting Jaime go. We see why she did it, because she wants her girls. She's taken the roll of the dice. But in the books, it made a lot more sense, because she just got word that Bran and Rickon had died. And so obviously she wants to round up as many of her children as she can that are left. I mean, she's grief-stricken. In the show, she really doesn't have much of an excuse to let Jaime go. I mean, of course she wants her girls back, we understand that. But now she put Rob's life in danger. I mean, she already saw that the Karstarks were getting violent, getting rowdy, wanted Jaime's head, and you know, now we have a major force in Rob's army that is angry with the Starks, and you don't really want that kind of friction in an army. You want to be a single unit. You don't want to be split. So now she just weakened Rob's army, making Rob have a weak spot, and also, you know, putting his life in danger. And Jaime, who knows where their army is, who I don't know if he could have picked up some key information, is now going to King's Landing, or who knows, he might escape and go to Castle Rock or to his father again. And it's just, it was, I don't know. It was stupid. Another stupid thing on Catelyn's part, where, you know, she's already got her son into a war because she took Tyrion, and she got her husband's head cut off because she took Tyrion, and now she's putting her oldest son in danger because she let Jaime Lannister go. This is why Catelyn is not my favorite character, and I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. I can see why she does things, but I can't forgive the consequences that come of them. So, yeah. Anyways, the Brienne and Jaime scenes are freaking hilarious. I love them. I love them. They're like right out of the book. They're right out of the book. And I hope to see more of them. I don't want them to be dragged out or a prominent feature in the show, but a little Brienne and Jaime scenes every now and again. I would love to see that. I hope to see more. Next we go to Arya, which was my most disappointing scene for this episode, because Tywin is leaving, and I don't know if she's finding Jaqen to give him Tyrion's name, or perhaps she figures this is the perfect time to escape. Anyways, she wants to she wants to get Jaqen for a reason, and I'm not sure the reason. And I think she tells him what she wants, and he won't do it, so she gives him his own name. And so all of a sudden he's like, okay, like, you know, we can work something out. And because I think if she gives him his name, he's gonna have to do it. He'll do it, even if, like, you know, she wasn't serious. As long as she said his name, he would have to do it. And anyways, so he finally works something out with her, which is basically to help her escape. And this is the most disappointing part, because I was looking forward to their escape. Usually I don't mind deviations or cut scenes, but Arya's escape from Harrenhal was so important to me. I really wanted to see that. I was looking forward to this, and this was the biggest letdown. But anyways, other than that, I can forgive not doing the scene, but I can't forgive not giving Jaqen his exit scene, because him talking to Arya one last time is so important for her future. And so I don't know if he's going to be popping up again or if he's just gone for good. So we'll have to see here. And I do hope to see him again, because I can't get enough. I just can't get enough. We missed the bathtub scene, so no Jaqen and bathtub scene. So maybe we can like convince HBO to get him to do like a photo shoot in a bathtub for me. That would be nice. Anyways, and so that was a bit of a disappointment. I really wanted to see that. But anyways, let's get to Tyrion, who's planning the siege. And I really loved this scene because it's very entertaining within a serious issue. You know, Bronn and Tyrion are kind of just like on the fritz. You could tell Tyrion's really frustrated. Bron's more relaxed, and he really knows what to do under a siege. He puts his input in, which was very interesting, and then Varys comes in, and it was a great scene. All of them had chemistry together, and Tyrion always steals the show. He always does. And these plans that they had for King's Landing was more interesting than Tywin's battle plans were. And so yeah, he's just planning for the siege. He mentions the Mudgate and that he's gonna do something to keep the people out because Mudgate is the weakest link. Later, we have Cersei finally acting like Cersei. That scene where she, like, you know, basically says men are stupid because they have a penis, or that they're weaker because they have a penis, is so her, because she feels like she deserves everything a man gets because she is smart, she is capable, and yet she doesn't get as far because she doesn't have a penis. So, and she feels a penis is a weakness. So this is more Cersei, and I really like them adding that. She's been all over the place because the show has a different Cersei, yet they borrow aspects from the book, which is yet again another Cersei. So we have these two Cerseis kind of colliding. So sometimes she's the show version, sometimes she's the book version, and this is definitely more the Cersei I want, and it happens to be the book version, but you know, let's not focus on that. Anyways, we also see her, she's very paranoid about her children, which is another aspect that I like. She's very suspicious of Tyrion because he sent Myrcella off, and now she's convinced that it's because of Tyrion that Joffrey wants to go in battle, even though we all know Joffrey would love to kill people himself for once. I don't know. We know it's Joffrey who wants to go in battle, and Tyrion really has nothing to do with him going into battle. And also, we also have her finding Tyrion's whore and telling Tyrion, like, basically, like, if anything happens to my son, it's gonna happen to Roz, but like, it's gonna happen to your whore, but 10 times worse. And I just messed up, but anyways, when she brings the whore in, it's Roz. And finally, Roz has a scene where she is actually needed, and it actually makes sense to have her. It wasn't pointless because it wasn't Shay. Then the fact of the matter is Cersei thought she had Shay, but she didn't. She had Roz, or a different whore. And now Roz's other scene kind of makes it more fun that she is the whore who got captured, even though I think her other scenes were pointless. But just the fact that we know who Roz is, and now she's brought in here in this terrible situation, is a kind of fun aspect for me. And I don't really know what's going on, because Roz had a Lannister pendant on, or a lion pendant on, and so Cersei thought she had her. And then when Roz comes in, Tyrion and her play along like it was planned or something. Yet, from the look on Tyrion's face when Cersei said she had his whore, it didn't look like he planned that. It looked like he was really worried. And then afterward he goes and looks for Shay. So I'm like, was it planned, or how did this all turn out? Like, how did they know to work with each other when she came in? Why was she wearing a lion pendant? So that part's a little confusing, but I did like it because it showed Cersei's more ruthless side. And it was actually her who killed all of Robert's bastards and not Joffrey. So, you know, we know that this is more Cersei. This doing cruel things like this is more Cersei, and I really do like that. And then we have this scene with Sam that's very brief, and he finds a bunch of items that a Night's Watch brother left behind, and very brief, but obviously because they added it, it's going to be important. All I noticed was a horn and an obsidian dagger, and I forgot what else was in that little package. And then we have a Davos scene, and I really do like these Davos-Stannis scenes. Davos is another character who could use a little bit more screen time, and Stannis' storyline definitely needs to be elaborated on, and definitely could have used some of that time that I was talking about, that, you know, unnecessary scenes could have definitely been given to Stannis, which I think, you know, he needs a little bit more elaboration. But anyways, we find out Davos and his history and why he's so important to Stannis, and he's actually named Hand of the King for when Stannis finally gets the throne. And then we also finally get why Stannis is so adamant about being king. I mean, he's not only being like a like jerk by like, it's my right so I'm gonna take it, like sort of thing. It's like, you know, he fought for Stannis. He almost died for, I mean, he fought for Stannis. He fought for his brother Robert. He almost died for his brother Robert. And when his brother snubbed him by giving a very, very nice keep with very, very nice titles, he gave it to Renly instead of Stannis, who literally almost died fighting in Robert's war. He gets snubbed like that, and he gets given a different keep that is very, I think it's a barren place, and it's not a great location, and it's off in the ass of the world. And he never complained. He's like, my brother's king, I'll obey him. And now it's his turn to be king, and Renly straight up was like, nope, I'm gonna be king. Then he died, and now we see why Stannis is so like, you know, it's my turn now. And I also like him choosing Davos because Davos is, I guess, realer than the other lords. Other lords would, you know, kiss his ass. They're very much assholes because even Davos was like, they don't want to break bread with a crabber's son. Like, they think we're dirty. They think we're beneath them. And so Stannis really likes Davos because he's always been real with him. He's always been honest. And, you know, I really like that scene in a whole. And then Dany, we had to get a Daenerys scene, even though nothing happened. Like, in the other scenes, something happened at least. That bullshit about her dragons being stolen, at least that was something new and something happened. Here, she basically says to Jorah, take me to the House of Undying. And I thought, you know, it was pretty clear that she was going to go there already. I thought, you know, that was just a obvious next move. And so, I don't know. It was like the Jaime scene where I felt like it was a complete waste of time. And don't get me wrong, I love Daenerys, but these scenes are getting ridiculous. Anyways, next, or lastly, we have Aemon finding Osha, and they have been hiding out in the crypts of Winterfell, and she figured, you know, they would escape, double back, and stay in the keep because, you know, they would think they were long gone, and they would never think to look inside of Winterfell, especially the keep, or the crypts. And it was amazing. And I really liked how, you know, Aemon's like, you know, don't tell him that they butchered the farmer's boys, because Bran would really, you know, blame himself. And then we see Bran, and his face is so cute, and it's just like, it's so heartbreaking because, you know, that's exactly how Bran would feel. And So yeah, I was glad to see a lot of progress. I think we're going to have a lot of great scenes happening for the finale. I'm not quite sure because I haven't read the books in a while. It's been like a year or a little bit longer. And so I think we're going to get, Jon Snow meeting Mance. We're going to finally get Dany in the House of the Undying. We're going to get Robb and his consequences for sleeping with that girl, or the consequences for Cat releasing Jaime, one of those or both of those. Um, and I think the battle in King's Landing, and I'm not sure, but maybe Theon finally gets confronted by Bolton, and I'm not sure what else is going to be big, but those are all big things that I really want the show to spend a lot of time on. And that's what I was saying. I was like, they need to stop dragging these out and start, revealing a lot of these key things that are going to happen, so we don't have them all jammed up at the end and all of a sudden we have like 5 minutes apiece for each big scene. And so I can't wait. I really want to see more of Sansa and Sandor, and that's it. I do have a question to leave you all with, and it is actually suggested by a fellow commenter, and I don't know if they do their own YouTubers, so I don't know if I could call him a YouTuber, but someone from the YouTube community. And they asked, which Game of Thrones character would you like as a drinking buddy? And this was suggested by Matteo Licio 1. You guys are gonna stop with these creative ass names because I can't pronounce them. But anyways, for me, I don't drink alcohol, so I wouldn't know what to look for in a drinking buddy. So I'm gonna do something a little different. I'd be like someone I would drink coffee with. Who would I like to have a nice cup of coffee with? And I would have to say Daenerys, because she's a very strong-willed woman. She knows what she wants. She's a little clueless as to how to get there, but I would love to speak with her because she seems so independent, and she knows she has to depend on people to get where she wants to go, but she doesn't want to be attached to them. And I don't know, I really like her resolve, and I really like what she stands for. So I think I would really love to have a cup of coffee with Daenerys and discuss just issues and life problems. I don't know. I think she'd be fun to have a cup of coffee with. So if you don't drink like me, you could answer the coffee question, or if you drink, then you know what to look for in a drinking buddy, and you can answer the drinking question. So thank you for your time. Bye.